Welcome to Southwest Florida for Week 7, match number 11, inside the SoFi Center. And you know what? A little rain outside ain't hurt nobody, because if you're not familiar, this is stadium golf, as Rory McIlroy enters as the man in the arena for Boston Common Golf, looking for a victory. Justin Thomas, he is representing Atlanta Drive GC, looking to bury the Ball Frogs' playoff hopes, but maybe they'll have a little something to say about that. How's it going, everybody? Jemai Webster, happy to be here with you, as always, joined by the First Lady of TGL, Claire Rogers. That is the nightcap after a match that has been filled with so much excitement already. You saw LA Golf Club defeat New York Golf Club in a match that was incredible. We also got the TGL Hype Crew here with us. What's up, ladies? What's happening? How about that earlier match? I mean, it was incredible.
It was so much fun. I keep thinking of the stat that I heard that they had a 2% chance of winning when they got up on that 12th tee box. So it just shows how much fun it was here and how important the hammer is. Those new rules have really bumped it up a level here at TGL.
It's very important. As we get hyped up by the crew, let's get you hyped up for this match. Let's take a look at our triples for Boston Common Golf. It's Keegan Bradley, Hideki Matsuyama, and Rory McIlroy. Meanwhile, for Atlanta, as previously mentioned, Justin Thomas leading the way, Billy Ho, Billy Horschel, and Patrick Cantlay.
Let's take a look at the SoFi Cup standings. LA just punched their ticket to the playoff. They are in first place here, followed by the Bay, then Atlanta and New York, and just outside the cut there is Jupiter and Boston. Boston really needs a win tonight, Jemai.
They need a win like I need air to breathe, because if they don't, it's going to be tough. Let's take a look at exactly how they got to this point. Boston Common has had quite the heartbreak over the last several weeks. Here's Adam Scott, week 4. Massive putt, and he buried it. The feeling was incredible. It was reaching everybody. Rory was going crazy. They loved it at that point. Then Keegan Bradley. He had an opportunity to win the match. He needed to get this putt, and that's really where the deficiencies have been. It's the putting. They weren't able to get that. They would lose this match in overtime to Jupiter Links. Then last week, Bradley on 10. A chip in. Are you kidding me? Could it have gone any better than that? At that point, you got to feel like you're riding high. They were going nuts. Then on the 15th and final hole, Hideki Matsuyama for eagle with the chance to continue to push them and put the pressure, but he was unable to come through in his first match. And that seemed to be the story. He left the door open for Wyndham Clark, and this is where the nickname Walk-Off Wyndham was birthed. Same old, he drains it. And the Bay Golf Club, probably the top team in TGL right now, they seem to be doing everything right. So Boston, we need one word to describe what they've been doing. My word, Claire, is heartbreak. You saw as a highlight package that we just ran, every time they have an opportunity to try to get something done, it's answered by the other team. It's not like they're playing bad golf either. They're playing great golf. They just have not been able to cross over that threshold. What's one word that you have to describe Boston?
It kind of goes with yours, Jemai. It would be unlucky. They've gotten so close twice now, and it just hasn't gone their way when it really could have gone either way. But the tides may be turning, because I saw Keegan Bradley said he got rid of his mustache because they hadn't won with it, so now it's gone. So if they win tonight, we know we can thank him for that.
It was such a great mustache, though. I mean, the sweater lip was fantastic. What's the key now, do you think, to Boston? Obviously, Keegan thinks it's cutting the mustache, but what do you think they need to do to get a victory here tonight?
Focus. I feel like it's come down to those last 5 holes, but if they can get, a little padding with some other points earlier in the match, between 1 and 9, that'll be good. So get dialed in there and then allow the last 5 holes to be about fun.
I think fun is a prerequisite when you're playing in TGL, presented by SoFi, but you also have to be able to deliver on the shots that you need to make. The gotta have it's. We saw a few of those things sprinkled in. Some fantastic shots from Adam Scott, Keegan Bradley with the chip in. But you got to be able to make the putts. I think that's what's hurting this team right now. So make some of those deliverables, putt, get ahead, use the hammer as well. So we'll see what happens.
We will.
All right, so a lot of Boston Common Golf talk right now. The Ball Frogs need to get it done, but Atlanta is the other team on the opposition. Patrick Cantlay getting himself ready inside the Players Performance Lounge. More Matchup Live on the other side of this break. Stick with us.
Golf is a game of tradition, but even it's changed. From the style, to the equipment, to the whatever this is. And if golf can change, why can't banking? Well, with SoFi's game-changing tech, now people can bank, borrow, and invest all in one app, so they can take their best shot at their ambitions. TGL presented by SoFi. Next Gen Golf meets Next Gen Finance. SoFi, get your money right.
What does it take to achieve great things? Focus and hard work. The same is true with healthcare. At Optum, we're focused on helping make access to quality healthcare easier and more affordable. And with hard work, we can help healthcare work better for everyone. Optum, helping create a healthier world.
That spot really decks you out.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with technology. It's definitely not my father's golf, or my grandfather's.
Whoa.
Boom shakalaka.
What if tomorrow's tech met tomorrow's golf? What is that?
What is that?
Ooh, what is that?
It's the Genesis. Something you'll get used to saying a lot.
Business Solver empowers your HR team with industry-leading software that controls costs and keeps employees really happy. That's Employee of the Decade stuff. That's what it means to be a business solver.
Buying a car is kind of a big deal, but you use the Car Gurus app. That's a price drop alert, so the deals come to you. Nope. Big deals right when you need them. Car Gurus, the #1 most visited car shopping site.
Which player will call the most timeouts during the season?
Tiger.
Best putter in TGL presented by SoFi.
Evan Kisner?
Worst trash talker in TGL.
Me?
Which player will be the most entertaining mic'd up?
Max Homa.
Shot clock. Scared or excited?
Excited.
If you could trade hair with anyone in TGL, who would it be?
Cameron Young.
Who will miss their caddy the most?
That's a good one. I'm going to say Wyndham Clark.
Best overall athlete in TGL?
Me.
Back here for the nightcap of our twin bill, Justin Thomas, prepping, getting ready for his match against Boston Common Golf. Because LA Golf Club won their match earlier, first team to punch their ticket to the postseason, Atlanta wins. They clinch a playoff spot with a victory. That's what Justin Thomas is trying to lead them to. Let's show you how they kind of got to this point, because JT has been playing a little bit out of his mind. He's been a clutch performer in TGL. This is versus LA Golf Club, who, as previously mentioned, just clinched their ticket. He needed this to force OT. He got it. He was able to deliver for Atlanta Drive and get them a victory. The next match, as they were part of a doubleheader on this President's Day holiday, he needed another one to go, and that's how close he came to nearly getting that to fall and forcing overtime. So Justin Thomas has been a clutch performer. I think he's been one of the fantastic players in TGL to this point. So I'm going to ask you, TV's Claire Rogers, where does Justin Thomas rank among TGL golfers for the guys that you would pick if you got to have it? You got to have it moment. Where's JT rank?
He's tied for third, and I think I have like recency bias is the issue, because I'm thinking, all right, Tiger's #1 for obvious reasons, and Ludwig Oberg would be #2 for me, and then he is tied with Tom Kim. And again, all these guys have been super clutch in these matches, but also out on the tour lately, so I think that is probably why those other two are in there. What about you, Jermaine?
Yeah, it's funny that you say a victim of recency bias, which is what you put on your picks there. And I'm the same. Tiger #1. He's in top spot, of course. He's in a class of his own. But after seeing the match earlier tonight with LA, I think Colin Morikawa is now Captain Clutch when it comes to a gotta have it. And then I like Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas, he was able to do it on the doubleheader, and he didn't lose any steam or energy. So I love that from him, but I think he still has a little bit more to prove in TGL before I decide to crown him in that top spot. But certainly one of the top players already when it comes to clutch moments. I feel like JT is right there. Atlanta needs a victory.
They do.
That would punch their ticket to the postseason. What message would it send should they be able to bury the Ball Frogs' playoff hopes and pretty much their season?
That they're here to stay. And I think, as you mentioned last week with the doubleheader, they've already proven a lot. There's not much more, but they can now say, you know, this wasn't on accident that we've stumbled into these victories. So I think that would be the main takeaway from a win from them tonight.
I certainly feel the same way. It would say that they're here to stay because they've been here the entire time, in my estimation. It's been LA and the Bay at the top two spots, kind of back and forth. But Atlanta has been there without the pomp and circumstance, without the hype. They've been a consistent team. We'll see if they can keep that up.
Definitely. Well, it is the second part of our TGL doubleheader tonight, so let's take a look back at the highlights from the last match.
First of a twin bill. Match number 10, LA Golf Club versus New York Golf Club. Tony Finau signed a one-day contract to come in here, and he fit right in. Dancing his way on the first tee. In his TGL debut, he brought the energy, and then he brought the muscle. Piped this one straight down the fairway on the par 4 first, and he was feeling himself. Staying on the first hole, New York Golf Club had the answers early. All the answers to the test. Ricky Fowler for birdie, 37 feet. He read this like a crime novel. Watch this bad boy. Catch a little speed there and find the bottom of the cup. The hammer was thrown by LA Golf Club. That would lead to just 1 point after they conceded the hole. And then on the third, it was Rick's show. His tee shot stuck the landing that led to New York gaining another point. They're up 2-0 at this point, seemingly riding high. On the fourth, Cam Young talked about reading putts. Check out this read. 38 feet, 6 inches, and it was perfect. Cam Young, longest putt in TGL history. No points would be awarded, but such a beauty in the history books. And then on 6, Matt Fitzpatrick continuing the putting. He was clutch there, gave them a 3-0 lead. But here comes LA. On 12, standing on the tee, they had a 2% chance to win this match. Fast forward to that, and Sahith Theegala says, I'll take your 2%. Gets them their first points. They win the hole. They're in the match. It's 4-1 at this point. On 13, Tony Finau just entered the chat, and he gets a 2-point hole after the hammer was thrown that raised the stakes. It is now a 1-point deficit after having a 98% chance to not win this one. Colin Morikawa took that off the tee, and he said, take this on 14. Gets a little reverse English, leaves that to within 6 feet. They would eventually tie the hole. That means we headed into overtime. You know the rules. It's a chipping contest, just like hockey. Best of 3, and it's Morikawa continuing that prestige, and he was able to get this to go. LA Golf Club comes back to win 5-4, the first team in TGL to punch their ticket to the playoffs. All right, there's Keegan Bradley, newly shaved mustache off, trying to bring maybe some good vibes, who knows? But he's without it, warming up as Boston Common Golf gets ready for their nightcap match against Atlanta Drive Golf Club. As we bring you back inside the SoFi Center, Jemai Webster here, happy to be joined by John McGinnis and Brian Katrick on SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. Fellas, thanks so much for spending the time with us.
We're thrilled to be here. And do you think there's anybody that thinks, man, I hate that Keegan shaved that thing off?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I actually loved it. You didn't like it? Silence. You didn't like the mustache, really?
I did not like the mustache. I love Keegan. everything about him. No, the mustache made him look soft. He's not soft. He's from New England. He's tough.
That's right. He shows that New England toughness. But I see now, because you're clean shaven, so it makes sense that you decided that the mustache wasn't a good look.
Oh, well, you can't. Fat guys shouldn't have mustaches. That's why I don't have one.
All right, Brian, it's obviously that McGinnis is locked in on all things TGL as it relates to shaving, but what are some of the posts of what you've been able to see over the course of the last 6-7 weeks from the fan, things that they've enjoyed about TGL Golf?
Oh, well, sitting here inside the SoFi Center, to me, it's amazing how much louder it is in this building than it seems to. If you haven't been here, you got to get here. This game doesn't lend itself to a ton of high-energy situations most of the time. Yeah. Just not what it is. But this game does. And, I mean, we get done. We normally work a lot longer days than this. And we'll get done with an hour and a half of these 2-hour matches, and we're beat. We still got 30 minutes to go. So there's a lot of energy in there.
What about you, John? What do you think has kind of resonated with the fans to this point?
Well, I think just that. Look, I said about the FedEx Cup 20 years ago, if the players buy into it, then the fans are going to buy into it. Well, the players have bought into TGL hook, line, and sinker. I think Hideki Matsuyama and Patrick Cantlay are going to talk tonight. I mean, that's how big this is. I do. I think that watching these guys come out of their shells, they're not treating this like it's a chance to win the Masters. They're treating it like it's a chance to win TGL, and they're having a blast with it.
Along those lines, Brian, who has kind of come out of their shell or felt, who do you feel like is a player that's been built for this environment, the TGL format, the matchup play, the tit for tat, the back and forth? Who's kind of shined in that regard?
Well, I think we're going to see two of them out here in the next match, in Billy Horschel and Justin Thomas. I think we saw a little bit of it from Wyndham Clark that I don't think we saw, that we knew was there. Mm-hmm. You know, we knew there was a little bit of edge to Wyndham, but was he going to bring it or not? We knew Shane Lowry was funny, but you put the two of them together, that was magic. And then as far as Spirit's concerned, all you had to do is look at the last match we just saw. I mean, Sahith meant it. He was in it. Those were significant reactions. That was. He says this is in the Masters. We understand what it is and what it isn't. I'm not so sure Sahith didn't get confused. That was a big deal to him about 2 hours ago.
And don't forget Tom Kim. I mean, Tom Kim has...
TGL Tom.
I mean, he has really risen to the occasion, hasn't he?
Now, we kind of highlighted it to open up Matchup Live, but it's been heartbreak for Boston Common Golf. They've been close in some matches, haven't been able to break through to this point. Their playoff hopes are hinging on victories. What do you think they have to do to turn their luck around to try and get a victory?
You'd be really hard-pressed to find a more talented team than them. Yeah. So nothing about this makes any sense whatsoever. It's like ACC basketball this year. It just doesn't make sense. And I think they get the win tonight.
Yeah, the only team that features guys who've won major championships, aside, or at least all three of their guys, right? Now, what do you think that they need to do to get a victory?
I think we just saw it, Jemai. We just saw it in the last match. All of a sudden, New York comes out. They'd made 40-something feet of putts all season. They make 90 feet of putts in the first 6 holes. That's all they need. They need somebody to make something. And then they'll remember that they can win some of these holes, and then the gambling part's going to take over. I think you'll see some good hammers, and I think that's all. Make a couple, but something go in the first 3 or 4 holes is all they need.
Yeah, we need more hammers, that's for sure. What I liked from the last match, nice little new wrinkle in TGL, the one-day contract from Tony Finau. How he came in. You think that's something that we can see more as things begin to progress? Maybe some players on tour saying, hey, I want a piece of this?
Absolutely. And, you know, there's a lot of star power out there that doesn't have a full-time TGL contract. So, I mean, you think Tony's not hooked now? I guarantee he's calling his agent right now and saying, man, I really want to be a part of this now.
All right, quickly, who's your pick to win tonight?
Well, I live in Atlanta, Jemai. So
he knows where his bread is buttered.
Yeah, I can't pick a Boston team over an Atlanta team, or I won't get to go home. So let's go ATL.
All right, John, who you got?
See, I was born in Atlanta, but my mama's from Boston.
Enough said. We can end it right there. Brian Katrick, John McGinnis, thanks so much for your time. You can catch these fellas on SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. We'll be talking much more, but appreciate the time, fellas. Thank you so much. All right, they talked about it. It's Boston versus Atlanta tonight. rich history with these two towns. I think about a Super Bowl recently, but we won't get into that. More to come up on Matchup Live in just a bit.
Wrong.
Golf cart or walk?
I'll take a golf cart every day, one that goes fast, preferably.
Bermuda grass or polo grass?
Bermuda.
Blade or mallet putter?
I've got a blade, but I have used a mallet in the past.
What's your preference?
Whichever one works the best.
Best short game in TGL presented by SoFi.
Justin Thomas.
Best iron game?
Tiger Woods.
Best trash talker?
Kevin Kisner.
Worst trash talker in TGL?
I'm going to say Tom Kim.
Which player will be the most entertaining mic'd up?
Kids is going to be pretty good. I'll probably fall on his coattails.
Who will have the most shot clock violations during the season?
Patrick Cantley.
Who will be the best dressed on match night?
That's yours truly.
Golf is a game of tradition, but even it's changed. From the style, to the equipment, to the whatever this is. And if golf can change, why can't banking? Well, with SoFi's game-changing tech, now people can bank, borrow, and invest all in one app, so they can take their best shot at their ambitions. TGL presented by SoFi. Next-gen golf meets next-gen finance. SoFi, get your money right.
I don't play for money. My ambition is to play big, to help and inspire others. That's why I joined SoFi. They help people earn more and save more so they can realize their ambitions. SoFi, get your money right.
Business Solver empowers your HR team with industry-leading software that controls costs and keeps employees really happy. That's Employee of the Decade stuff. That's what it means to be a business solver.
TGL, presented by SoFi, is fast-paced team golf played within the custom-built SoFi Center on an area roughly the size of a football field that's broken into two distinct sections, the screen zone and green zone. When hitting into the screen, teams use real grass fairways, rough, and sand, aiming at a screen nearly 24 times the size of a normal simulator screen. Teams start here with their tee shot, moving their ball down the fairway with each hit into the screen. Where they hit from depends on where their ball ends up. If the ball lands in a fairway bunker, the next shot is hit from the sand. Hit into the rough, play from the rough, and so on. For longer shots, the back box is used, and for shorter shots, the front. When the ball lands inside approximately 50 yards of the pin, it's time to transition to the green zone to finish the hole. This is TGL, presented by SoFi.
Welcome back to Matchup Live pregame. Did you know that you can win a $75 PGA Tour Superstore gift card right now in the TGL app? All you need to do is play Match Predictor and get 7 questions answered correctly. All right, Jemai, let's share our own answers for this match between Boston and Atlanta. Who's going to win tonight, Jemai?
I mean, we've been highlighting it the whole Matchup Live show. It's got to be Boston because they need it. They are desperate for a victory. They're trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. So I got Boston in this because their back is against the wall, literally and figuratively.
I think it's time. They've been so close twice now. I think they're going to get it done tonight as well. Let's talk about the winning margin. We both said 1 to 2 points.
I don't think it's going to be a walk away, a runaway, even though that's what they need. But this is going to come down to the wire, just like every match that they've had to this point, just about. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a potential walk-off Wyndham situation, maybe. They're going to win by 1 or 2 points.
I agree, especially with, the new hammer rules. Things have been a lot closer, which has been really fun to see. And now let's talk about the shot clock. We both said no.
I don't see it.
It got close last match.
It did because Tony was here for the first time. They had to call a timeout at one point when he was putting for the big putt that he was able to deliver. But I feel like these players are familiar with the format. They're used to it. They got that internal clock now, and they're playing to pace.
How many hammers? We both said 0 to 3.
Yeah, I feel like last match we saw 4, I believe. So it's close in that range now because there comes a point where in a match it does get strategic because you don't necessarily need to use it if you're leading. So if there's a team that's in a runaway, they're not going to use the hammer because if they fail to deliver, then it's 2 points for the other team potentially.
And I know Cantley likes to hold that thing close to him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What about the longest drive?
I pick Atlanta here, and that's because Justin Thomas tied for third with the longest drive in TGL. 339 yards. He hit it on Alpine. So I feel in that frame of his, there's a little bit more muscle there. And if the Alpine, which is the hole where you got those hills, and if you catch the right slope, you can really move it along. I think he can get a little bit more yardage out of that. We'll see.
The course architect over here.
That's one of my holes. I love it.
I went with Boston, and I think it's going to be Rory specifically. Let's talk about the longest putt made. You said 25 to 35 feet.
And I feel good about that, especially because of what we saw from the previous match with LA against New York Golf Club. We saw Cam Young hit the longest putt in TGL history, 38.6 feet. So I feel like these guys have now gotten a rhythm and a great read of these greens, and we're going to see some distance here in this one.
I know. I originally said it would be, maximum 25 feet.
Oh, now you want to switch?
I'm going to stick with it because
okay.
I do think, these guys have been chipping in. All the other matches have been chipping in, but the last match, they were just draining putts from everywhere. But I'll stick with what I said originally, and let's talk about hole 10, singles. JT or Keegan, who do you got?
That's a tough one, but because Boston needs it, I like Captain America, Keegan Bradley. Even though he shaved his mustache, John McGinnis didn't like it. He was just with us. But I think the mustache needs to come back. But if he wins tonight, he may be mustache-free. We'll see. But I like Keegan to best JT.
I said it's going to be a tie, which maybe is a cop-out, but
yeah,
I do think it will be a tie unless one of those guys makes a mistake. And you can see all of the on-screen, all of our picks. Download the app, TGL, and you can make some money, hopefully, if you...
Yeah, unlimited winners, right?
Limited winners, but say if you and I both won, we would all get to win. So,
okay. All right, big $75. Hey, you can get it. All right, we've done all the damage that we can do on the Matchup Live set from the SoFi Center. Let's go check out the match now. You can catch all the action live on ESPN. Let's watch it all together. We'll be here for interviews and more in just a moment.
Best short game in TGL presented by SoFi?
I'm selfish. I'm going to say me.
Which player will be the most entertaining mic'd up?
Billy Ho.
Who will miss their caddy the most?
I'm not going to answer that. I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Which player will throw the most hammers during the season?
Me.
Who will be the best dressed on match night?
I'm going to go our team.
If you could trade hair with anyone in TGL, who would it be?
Ooh, trade hair. Tommy Fleetwood, for sure.
Who will have the most shot clock violations during the TGL season?
Tom Kim.
Golf is a game of tradition, but even it's changed. From the style, to the equipment, to the whatever this is. And if golf can change, why can't banking? Well, with SoFi's game-changing tech, now people can bank, borrow, and invest all in one app, so they can take their best shot at their ambitions. TGL presented by SoFi. Next Gen Golf meets Next Gen Finance. SoFi, get your money right.
Why blend in when standing out is so much more fun? The GV70 by Genesis.
Best Buy really decked you out.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with technology. It's definitely not my father's golf, or my grandfather's.
Whoa. Boom shakalaka.
What if tomorrow's tech met tomorrow's golf?
What does it take to achieve great things? Focus and hard work. The same is true with healthcare. At Optum, we're focused on helping make access to quality healthcare easier and more affordable. And with hard work, we can help healthcare work better for everyone. Optum, helping create a healthier world.
Best TGL presented by SoFi. Follow on social.
I got to get more involved. Oh, easy, Max Homa.